Well, Eleonora Tafuro Ambrosetti is a research fellow at the Italian Institute for International Political Studies. She joins me now from Milan. Hi there. Now, we are having this conversation, actually, just as Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte is arriving in Russia. He's set to hold talks there with President Putin. So tell us what you make of what looks like this now growing strategic alliance between Italy and Russia. Do you think it is in Italy's best interest?
Good afternoon. The Prime Minister Conte defined Russia as a strategic ally, a highly regarded ally. And in fact, Italy and Russia have strong relations, especially in terms of trade. And we have to bear in mind that Italy imports almost half of its gas from Russia. So, of course, a good relation with Moscow is in Italy's best interest. At the same time, we have to also remember that Italy is one of the founding members of the EU, and it has to maintain a solid pro-EU stance in order to feel respected in Brussels as well.
Right, but some in the EU are getting the impression that this is actually, punishment of sorts for the EU coming down on Italy for overspending and for the rejection of its budget.
Well, definitely Italy's position with regards, for instance, to the renewal of the economic sanctions against Russia can be a bargaining chip in Brussels. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that Italy's stance with regards to Russia is anything new. Italy has always carried out a coherent foreign policy that is quite friendly with regards to Russia. This is not only something that the current government is doing. The previous ones has always maintained good relations with Russia as well. So, Italy has always opposed sanctions. So this is nothing new.
But I mean, a lot of European countries have strong business ties with Russia, but there was somewhat universal agreement in the EU that the annexation of Crimea, for example, was intolerable. That's why sanctions had to be imposed. Where do Italians actually stand on this? Do they feel like Russia's actions, for example, in Ukraine, don't matter, that business relationships should really trump such actions?
To be completely honest with you, Italy's, the public opinion of my country is not particularly interested in what happens in Russia and in Crimea. Other topics dominate the agenda and have much wider media coverage. Talking about migration, for instance, this is the chief topic that concerns Italians at the moment, and the Mediterranean in general, and especially I would say the Libyan crisis that gets much more coverage. At the same time, there is also a strong component, like trade component in Italy that claims that sanctions are harmful and not really useful in making Russia change its position in Ukraine. So they do lobby against sanctions.
Okay, Eleonora Tafuro Ambrosetti, thanks so much for joining us there from Milan.